So let's start by talking about this whole situation that's been blowing up, the one involving advocate BBL and her so-called PR stunt gone wrong. Now, for anyone who might not be caught up, here's the gist of it. She decided to step out publicly in support of her man, StefonDiggs, and according to her fans, that was apparently a major flex. Why? Because they proudly claim she's the favorite baby mama. Yes, out of the 4 alleged baby mamas, she's supposedly the favorite. And somehow that's seen as a badge of honor. A moment of pride. Anyway, moving on, as soon as she made her little appearance, social media, of course, couldn't help itself. People started being shady. It's like they can't compliment her without bringing up Nicki Minaj's name in the same breath. Every time someone says something nice, it's followed by, "But I don't like Nicki Minaj." And that's where things started to look kind of sad. Because instead of hyping up advocate BBL on her own merit, the whole conversation turned into this weird comparison. People started pointing out, if your name can't even come up without people immediately thinking about Nicki, what does that say? It basically means that on your own, your personality or image doesn't stand out enough. People see you and think of someone else, someone you clearly don't like. Meanwhile, when people see Nicki Minaj, they just see Nicki Minaj, a whole icon in her own lane. Nobody needs to mention advocate BBL in the same sentence, and that's the part that must sting. Imagine walking into a room and instead of people seeing you, they're reminded of someone you've built your entire brand hating. That has to hurt. But at the end of the day, it seems like she's leaned into that. She's learned how to capitalize off the hate, turning negativity into attention. And in the world of social media, sometimes, that's the whole strategy. So at this point, let's just be honest. Her face has literally become the poster child for the H train. Whether she admits it or not, she's the face people associate with the Nicki Minaj hate train. And honestly, I can't even tell if that's her old face or her new one. But one thing's for sure. The entire movement has her name written all over it. But here's the thing. She kind of brought that energy onto herself. Look, there's nothing wrong with wanting to compete. If someone's at the top, it's only natural for others to feel motivated and want to reach that level. Nicki's been dominating the game for years, so wanting to stand next to her in that same spotlight, that part is understandable. What makes it weird, though, is how she went about it. Like, instead of building her own lane, she went out of her way to snatch Nicki's entire glam team and even recruit Nicki's former fans, people who used to support Nicki, to come over to her side. It's like she tried to reconstruct Nicki's whole empire, piece by piece, but under her own name, and as if that wasn't already too much, she even started changing her face to look more like Nicki. That's the point where it stopped looking like competition and started looking like imitation. Because once you do that, once you reshape yourself to resemble someone else, you've basically accepted that you'll always live in that person's shadow, forever. Anyway, you guys tell me what you think in the comments. Because that post she made, the one that was clearly meant to be shady, didn't land the way she expected. In fact, it completely backfired. And let's be real, she's probably fuming right now. She cares deeply about what people think of her. That's exactly why she's always out here trying to please bloggers, doing favors, and putting on that "look at me, I'm the nice one" act. She loves to play that role. Like, see her? She's mean. She's loud. She stands up for herself. Meanwhile, she's over here saying, "Oh no, I'm quiet. I'm humble. I just say thank you to the executives. Please love me." It's that fake good girl energy she gives off to the media, trying to win over everyone by pretending to be the total opposite of the woman she secretly wants to be. So here's another thing that really stands out about her. When Nicki Minaj claps back at bloggers, she does it with fire. She doesn't hold back. But this one? She wants to be seen as the total opposite. It's almost like she's saying, "Look at me, I'm not like Nicki, I won't curse you out. I just want to be friends with bloggers." Because we all know Nicki's never tried to befriend bloggers. That's just not her thing. And that's the exact energy she gives off. It's like she's constantly trying to earn brownie points from the media. She's out here smiling for cameras and shaking hands like, "Hey, academics, you used to argue with Nicki Minaj, right? Well, guess what? I'm not like her. I want to be your friend." Or, "Jason Lee, I know you've had your issues with Nicki, but I'm different. I'll treat you better. Just speak nicely about me." That's the kind of energy that just screams desperation for approval, trying so hard to be liked by people who built their careers off being messy. Anyway, I'd love to know what you guys think. Drop your opinions in the comments. But staying on the topic of advocate BBL, it looks like she's made up with Kyle recently. Remember that one time when the neighborhood Talk posted a statement saying they were going to start featuring certain people again, people who had previously been off limits on their page? The comment section went wild. Everyone was like, "Oh, so y'all made up with that advocate BBL, huh?" Apparently, there was a time when she had banned them from posting anything about her. And now, suddenly, they're back on good terms. And honestly, it kind of gives off the vibe of a loyal lapdog moment, like wagging your tail and accepting crumbs of attention. Because now she gets to decide what Kyle can or can't post about her. And even though Kyle tried to deny all that in the comment section, the timing and energy said it all. And honestly, watching him in that moment, it was almost painful. He was fighting for his life, trying so hard to convince everyone, it's not about her. It's not about her. But deep down, you could tell even he realized how ridiculous that looked. Here's this man who's been out here posting in her favor, always giving her the benefit of the doubt. And yet, she still turns around and cusses him out. Like, imagine defending someone publicly, only for them to attack you because of what random people are saying in the comment section. And that's exactly what happened. People online were making jokes or leaving shady comments, something he obviously couldn't control. But somehow, in Advocate BBL's world, that became his fault. So in her book, his crime was not policing the internet. She got mad, cut him off, and suddenly, he stopped posting about her altogether, like the obedient little lapdog she clearly expects everyone around her to be. But here's what's wild. This wasn't even the first time. She'd also had fallouts with the Shade Room before, over the same kind of drama. And the irony? Everyone knows the Shade Room has never been the biggest fan of Nicki Minaj. In fact, they've been accused of favoring Advocate BBL on multiple occasions. Yet even then, whenever the comment section turned against her, instead of accepting that people just didn't agree, she'd start blaming the blogs themselves, like, if people are dragging her online, it's the Shade Room's fault. If a post doesn't get enough love, it's the neighborhood talk's fault. It's never her. She only wanted them to post about her when things looked good. The glamorous photos, the awards, the soft life moments. But the minute something negative popped up, she wanted those same blogs to look the other way. And to their credit, they started realizing this wasn't going to work. They can tone down the captions, sure, make things a bit less shady. But they can't just turn into her personal PR team. I even remember Angie from one of those blogs saying something like, "We don't work for you. We don't do your PR. We don't clean up your mess." And honestly, that's the truth. Because once those platforms start picking sides too obviously, they lose their credibility. But it seems like that's something she still doesn't get. The world doesn't revolve around her image, or what she wants people to see. And to top it off, it's been said that Kyle even had issues with the Shade Room because of her. So not only does she cause chaos in her own world, she manages to drag other people into it too. What's really wild to me, and honestly kind of funny, is how things came full circle. If that story is true, then think about it. Kyle went from being completely cut off from the Shade Room to starting his own platform, getting public support from Nicki Minaj, and then turning right around and pandering to that woman. Like, how do you go from being lifted up by Nicki, someone who supported your growth, to cozying up with the person leading the charge against her? That entire dynamic is just insane to me. But hey, it looks like Kyle loves the chaos. And you know what they say? If he likes it, we love it. Because clearly he's back to posting about her nonstop. And now we can expect to see even more biased content against Nicki Minaj. Not that it's anything new. The shade's always been there, but this time it's going to be louder. Because now it seems like Advocate BBL has officially given him the green light to post her again. And all the extra drama that comes with her fourth baby mama storyline. So yeah, brace yourselves, because you'll probably notice a shift. Watch how the tone changes when it comes to female rap coverage in general. The bias is only going to get thicker, but here's the funny part. I genuinely believe that her album rollout was a huge reality check for her. It proved she's not bigger than the system. No matter how confident she acts, at the end of the day, she still needs the blogs, the media pages, and those platforms to stay relevant. Let's be real. The Shade Room and the Neighborhood Talk are two of the biggest entertainment pages on Instagram. Their posts drive the culture, the gossip, the trends. So when you start thinking you're above them, or that your fame alone will carry you, that's when you start overrating yourself. Because like it or not, if you want to stay in the spotlight, you need the media. You can't pick and choose when to play nice. But anyway, speaking of the same circle, let's move on to what's been happening over in the Transformers camp, because there's a whole lot more tea brewing there too. All right, moving on to the next topic, let's get into this whole situation with Bongo, Megan, and Roc Nation. Honestly, at this point, I'm just sitting back and wondering, how delusional can they possibly be? Like, did y'all forget what just happened a few days ago? The Billboard Hot 100 came out with something shocking. For the first time in history, there wasn't a single hip-hop song on the chart. Not one. Now, people online started digging into why that happened. Some said it's because of Billboard's new chart rule changes, which apparently caused a lot of songs to drop off. Others blamed it on the politics inside the music industry, especially how rap and hip-hop are often treated differently than other genres. You see, many believe that executives, especially the ones behind the scenes, want to control and profit off hip-hop more than they do genres dominated by white artists. So, with all that conversation swirling around, here comes Bongo, trying to drop a song right in the middle of that chaos, and now they're celebrating this so-called Top 40 debut. Like, really? That's what we're doing now? If telling yourself that helps you sleep better at night, then go ahead. If believing that number makes you feel a little less stressed, maybe keeps you from reaching for that bottle, then sure, celebrate it. Because honestly, if Bongo wants to convince herself that she's smashing the charts with that mediocre track, that's her business. If it helps her stay calm and keep her spirits up, hey, we'll let her have that fantasy. At the end of the day, it feels like everyone around her is working overtime just to protect her ego, making sure she doesn't spiral or lose confidence. And if pretending that this song really touched Top 40 helps her feel like rap's savior, then I guess that's the story we're going with. Now, what really makes me laugh is how Billboard themselves jumped in to say, rap is back. Like, seriously? That's the narrative now? After weeks of proving the complete opposite, one mid-level chart entry suddenly means the entire genre is saved? Please. So, the headline that started all this said, rap is back in the Hot 100 Top 40 after a 2-week absence. Thanks to Megan Thee Stallion. And of course, Megan saw that and jumped right into the comments like, wow, keep running it up. At this point, I honestly had to laugh. Because there comes a time when you try to look at things objectively, you really do try to give credit where it's due, analyze the situation fairly, and understand the business side of the music industry. But then, the clownery just gets too loud. Like it reaches a level where you can't even take it seriously anymore. You just sit back, shake your head, and say, you know what? Fine, you can have it. Because the whole thing becomes so absurd that arguing about it isn't even worth the energy anymore. And like I said before, if this is her way of coping, if this little moment of self-delusion helps her stay positive, then so be it. Because the last thing anyone wants is for her to start spiraling again or slipping into that dark place mentally. If this narrative keeps her stable and away from that bottle, I'll allow it. Anyway, you guys, that's where I'm going to leave it today. Let me know in the comments what you think about everything we've talked about in this video, from Advocate BBL and her PR antics to the whole Bongo and Billboard situation. And of course, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, and stay tuned so you don't miss the next deep dive when I spill even more tea. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.